Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Trader's Mind Chat Show. I'm Mike. And before we get started, let me ask you this. Has anyone ever told you that you should keep it simple when it comes to trading? Let me know. Type that into the chat. Let me know if anybody's ever told you, hey, you should keep it simple. It's pretty good advice, but doing so isn't so easy, is it? No, most of us learn a little bit over here, a little bit over there, and before you know it, we've built something that looks like this here, right? So this is our Frankenstein trading monster, and you start off with good intentions. Maybe you start off by learning how to read some charts, learning how to analyze a company, maybe learn something about putting on size, right? If you've learned about those kind of things, go ahead, type in. Let me know, because this isn't just any old Frankenstein monster. This is the journey that I've had. This is the journey that a lot of people that I speak to have had. And you start off with the greatest of intentions, then eventually you get to this where you're not just reading charts. Now all of a sudden you're learning about candlesticks, and maybe you dabble in some Fibonacci. Maybe you start to hear a little bit about Bollinger Bands, or throw in anything else, right? Then you throw in, well, how are you going to analyze the company? Well, you've got can slim. I've learned all about that. I learned about value. I learned about GARP. And for those of you that don't know what those acronyms are, hey, we could dive into that rabbit hole too. And then as far as learning how to put size on, you could start to scale into trades. Maybe you learn about how to size with Van Tharp, or maybe, just maybe, you started to hear something about leveraging with margin and even using some options. And before you know it, the whole idea of keep it simple has flown out the window, and we've got our Frankenstein monster. Now, if that's what you feel like, let me know. Type it into the chat, because we're going to do our best to obliterate this trading monster and get us all back on track. So here's how I go about not deconstructing, I think is the good term, right? Deconstructing this trading monster that we've built. The first thing that we're going to need to do is an exercise that I talk about in this book right here. I haven't mentioned this book in a little while. This is my first book that I wrote. It's called The Mara Mindshift Guide, a Trading Beliefs Workbook. And we'll walk through the first exercise or two that's in this book. If you're interested in this book, I posted the link down below the YouTube description. But anyhow, the first exercise that we're going to do together, and I'd like you to type your answer into the chat, but type in, why are you trading? Why are you trading, and what are you hoping to achieve by doing it? Go ahead, let me know. I'll babble here for a moment or two while you guys get your answers in. But seriously, why are you trading, and what are you hoping to achieve by doing it? Most of us have a vague idea of what we want to do with our trading, or at least we did when we first started doing it, right? Because who really wants to sit in front of screens all day? Who really wants to pour through the newspaper or through Instagram posts? Or not really Instagram, the more so like posts on X, or maybe you're somebody that's on Reddit a lot, or maybe you're watching the traditional news. Maybe you're turning into MSNBC and Fox and all this, and you're trying to find what is going to help you make money. So what do you really hope to achieve by doing all this stuff? Are you trying to make some more money for yourself, or to have a side income? Are you trying to grow a nest egg? Are you trying to pay for something for your kids or contribute to your community? Maybe you're trying to Maybe trading is just a way to break up the day, right? But maybe you're tuning into this during your lunch hour, and you know what? The the job is boring. The job kind of sucks, and then this is one way to try to inject some excitement into it. We've got some stocks that are moving pretty well today. I mentioned Reddit earlier. Reddit's up about 6.5% right now. So what is it about trading that you really want to do? Right, we've got some comments coming in. Let's see who had something to say here. We've got Rahul. Rahul says that achieving consistency through a defined process, that's why he's trading. And Kieran says that I've always excelled at pattern recognition as well as identifying social trends, which are important factors in profitability and, of course, income and independence. Yeah, all this stuff are great ideas. So here's another question for you guys. Is trading fun for you? Right? Do you enjoy trading? If you had to rate trading on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being like the most exciting and fun thing that you could imagine, and 1 being like, gee, I'd rather get a wisdom tooth pulled, type into the chat if trading is a level 10 fun, or level 1 where they'd rather go to the dentist, or gee, rather, I don't know, maybe do some yard work or somewhere in between. Well, where does trading rate on the fun scale for you? Kieran says easy 10. All right, who else? Rahul says it's a 10. Yeah, you know what? It's about a 10 for me too. Now, I wouldn't put it ahead of things like spending time with my family, right? I love my wife. I love my daughter. I wouldn't put it ahead of them. I wouldn't put it ahead of my faith, right? Something that God's a very important part of my life. So I wouldn't put it ahead of those things. But as far as beyond those kind of things, as far as the things that I really do enjoy doing, yeah, trading's a 10 for me. And it's important to think this part through, because if trading is not a 10, or if it's not at least, I'd say, a 7 or better, well, there's much easier ways to make money than trying to do all this trading stuff, right? I mean, anybody that's been trading for even trying to do this stuff for a year will tell you that, what, trading's not as easy as I thought that it was, right? It's not just take some money, put it in, and more money magically pops out the other side. I used to think that too. I forget if I mentioned it in the Trading Mind Wheel. I know that I talk about it in this book too, the Trading Mind Wheel. And the exercises that we're doing, they're in both of these books, the Mind Shift Guide and the Trading Mind Wheel. I wanted to at least mention the Mind Shift Guide, because this one walks you through just these mindset exercises. The Trading Mind Wheel gives you a little bit more, but you can tell that trading has become a big part of my life. And while you don't need to write books or be as into it where you're making a YouTube channel and talking to people, but you could, if trading is something that you find to be a lot of fun, you can make it be a sustainable income for yourself, or at least start out as a sustainable side income where you are making gains consistently and you are making progress in your trading consistently, and that can grow into something where it will bear fruit. And that's how it started out for me, right? I did it. It wasn't an overnight success. Once I finally figured out what to do and how to do it in the right way, and deconstructed that Frankenstein monster that I showed you earlier, that's when I started to have progress. And over the span of probably how long? I found the New York City IBD meetup, I believe in 2011. And then by 2018, that's when I had saved up enough money to leave the day job behind and start doing this stuff full time. So, what is that, 7 years? So inside the span of 7 years, I was able to grow a little bit into enough where, yeah, it's helping to sustain the household and to be able to do this stuff. So the point is that yeah, you can do this. You can do it part time, but you want to do it in baby steps. You want to do it in increments, and that's how we're going to get from trying to have this big Frankenstein monster where it's like, yeah, keeping it simple, yeah, right, into something that's going to be more manageable. And so let me also see here, right? Um, let's move on to the next exercise in this book because we've already established why trading is fun. But now it's important for us to start to think about, well, what are some of the reasons why trading is important to us, right? What's your why? Well, why is trading so important to you? You mentioned some of the stuff, right? Like Rahul, you had mentioned that achieving consistency through a defined process. That's great, but why is that so important, right? And Kieran, you have mentioned that you've always excelled at pattern rec. That's great. You're great at identifying social trends and what's important in profitability. Uh, and you want to be income independence. But well, why are those things important? Right, well, why is that important? There could be any number of reasons why those things are important to you. Well, why are they important to you? Because part of what we're trying to do is to establish what the underlying reasons are, because when we get to the heart of it, right, and we want to go a few layers deep, right? Rahul says freedom. All right, so freedom is great. Well, why is freedom important? Why is freedom important? Freedom from what? Freedom from bills, freedom from having to work for somebody else, having your own time, right? The freedom of time, freedom of location. Well, what does freedom mean? And let's dig into that a little bit more. Well, why are these things important? We want to go several layers deep with this stuff because we want to get at the heart of it. Because as you well know by now, if you've been trading for any length of time, that trading is not so easy. It does get tough. Life does tend to get in the way and throw monkey wrenches into things, even when things are going well. So, what is the thing that's going to drive us forward when things get tough? Because if we don't establish these things, then that's one of the ways that we end up with this guy, right? And we might not even realize it. Well, we might be up here, right? And we don't know what built this. Well, we don't know what caused this monster to happen. We've just kept on layering things on, and then we thought, well, we've got this, and this seems to be going on well, and then we start layering in other things, and then well, we've got this monster, and all of a sudden, yeah, keeping it simple has flown out the window. So it's important to go a few layers deep with our why. Now, there's more to our beliefs, of course, than digging into our why. We're scratching the surface here in the little bit of time that we have, but understanding our why is an important part of the process. Now, let's see here. Uh, Kieran says that freedom is an inherent human trait that all of us strive for. Additional income also provides a safety net for inevitable catastrophes. Yeah, all that stuff is good. So what sort of catastrophes are you trying to avoid? Right? And if you don't want to put it into the chat. You don't have to, right? But make it personal, right? And I appreciate Raul and Kieran typing into the chat, but for the rest of you guys that are watching it, we've got 40 something people here. For the rest of you that are watching it, if you that want to keep it private, think to yourself too. Well, what what are the things that are like? Well, why is it personal? Right? What are these things that you're trying to avoid? Well, why do you need this money? Why does it need to be consistent? The more personal it is, the more you're going to stick with it. I'll share with you part of why I'm doing what I'm doing. It's not just for me, but I want to be able to pass this on to my daughter. I want to be able to show her not just how to invest and why and how to do this kind of stuff. I want to show her the work ethic. I want to show her that she's able to do this and well to show to be the model. And part of why that's important is because I want to be a good dad. So if that's my definition, or at least part of my definition of what being a good father is, then when things do get tough, I could look at that and be like, be a good dad. And it's part of the reason why I keep her picture right up on my desk. So we need it. We need strong reasons for what it is for what we're doing, because sometimes the market is going to look great. Sometimes the market is going to look like this, right? I'm just going to pull up some charts of some stocks here, and sometimes the market's going to look like this, where practically everything that you're holding is green on the day and is running well. Most of these positions I've held for a few weeks now. Everything is up big. It's not always going to be like that, and sometimes you're going to be distracted, right? And sometimes the market might move against you. Other things will be happening. You'll wonder what you should do and why you should do it. And it's real easy to go on to X or go on to Reddit or go on to wherever, see somebody saying something that's convincing. You look at your reason why, and while your position is down right now, so you start to have all sorts of doubts. And then you go on to the next thing, right? Maybe I should have looked at Bollinger Bands. Maybe I should have started using candlesticks instead of regular open, high, low, close bars. Maybe, Can Slim doesn't really work anymore. Maybe I should try to be a value player. And then all of a sudden, you end up with this. So one of the things that is important is starting to lay out our beliefs about trading, our beliefs about money, our beliefs about ourselves. If we lay these things out, and that's actually an exercise in this book. It's what number? That's when we get into number 2, uncover your trading beliefs. That's the purpose of trying to figure out, well, what is it about trading that I believe, and start to figure out, well, why do I believe these things, right? Well, where did these ideas come from? And when we start to unravel what ideas are there, well, what beliefs are there, where they came from, we could then start to see, well, are these beliefs serving us? In what ways are they serving us? And are they helping us get to the goals that we have? Right? Because if they're not leading us to our goals, then should we continue to hold on to these beliefs? How can we get a little bit more efficient, right? Because if you are somebody that's trying to trade part time and have a family, and you're juggling a job, you're juggling family, maybe you're juggling some volunteer work or some stuff with the family and with the kids, that's how you end up with this. That's how you end up with a lot of stress, right? I don't think that his teeth are looking that way because he's uh, got it all together, right? Part of what we need to do is get back to keeping it simple. And the way that we keep it simple, the way that we unravel this trading monster is by doing deeper belief work. Is it time consuming to go through a book like this one? A little bit, a little bit. Maybe a day, maybe 2 or 3 days if you break up the exercise over that time. But no, it also takes a little bit of time to work yourself out of a ditch. Or if your car is stuck in the mud, you're not going to get your car out of the mud by slamming on the gas. Right? You need to get out and put something underneath the tires, start to move slowly, maybe have somebody help push you out. And that's how you start to work your way out of the mud. By taking the time to unravel some of your beliefs and start to think through, well, are these beliefs serving me? Yes or no? If yes, great, hold on to them. If no, can you let go of them? Sometimes it'll be very easy to let go of a belief, sometimes it won't. So, how do you let go of a belief that isn't serving you, but you're struggling to? Working through those kinds of things is a big part of what successful trading is. And it's a big part of why there's so few that are really successful. Because if you take a look at anybody that's had really great success at trading, and I'm not talking about having a few good trades, I'm talking about lasting success, many years of trading success, many years of beating the market, many years of outperformance or super performance. I'm talking about the guys that you've read in Market Wizards. I'm talking about the guys that have won the US Investing Championship. I'm talking about those kind of people that have not just done things once, but have done it consistently. One of the common threads among all of them, in fact, it might be the common thread among all of them, is that their beliefs are consistent. Right? That they're not that they don't look like this. Right? They're not all over the place with a little bit over here, a little bit over there, and you have all this conflict, right? No, that's not them. All of the ducks are in a row, and they're all moving in the same direction. So if you really do want to keep it simple, and again, keeping it simple it is achievable, right? But we don't have to look like the monster. But the first step, the first real step, right? Rather than just saying that, oh yeah, keep it simple, and just throwing yet another thing at you, is first unraveling the monster. And the way that you're going to unravel the monster is to start digging into your beliefs. So I would encourage you to go do those exercises, right? Start out by saying to yourself, what are my beliefs about trading? You likely have at least 50 that you'll be able to write out fairly easily. And maybe that sounds like a lot, but when you start to lay it out, like, okay, let's say that you're somebody that studied can slim like me. Well, you have beliefs about certain patterns, right? Well, there's a cup with handle and it should be a certain depth and a certain length, like 7 weeks. It shouldn't be any deeper than 35%. You should be looking for these things in stocks that are already in established uptrends. You want to be trading with the market, not against it. You want to be in leading groups. How many beliefs that I just rattle off? Right? There's a lot. So when you start to dig into it, you likely have a whole lot of beliefs. Great. Take if you're on your lunch hour and you're down to 30 minutes, or we've only got a few minutes left here. Spend the rest of the time while you're eating the rest of your lunch. Write out your trading beliefs, and you'll be able to fill up a page pretty quickly. I'll tell you. And then once you get through with the trading beliefs, do the same exercise with money beliefs. Do the same exercise with beliefs about yourself, because sometimes we have conflicting beliefs about trading and conflicting beliefs about money. Sometimes we have conflicting beliefs about trading and conflicting beliefs about ourselves. If I think that I've found the holy grail of trading, and I believe it in something like Can Slim, or I believe in something like Mark Minervini, right? Mark Minervini is a friend of mine. Had dinner with him a few weeks ago. He's the guy that wrote the foreword to this book here, the Trading Mind Wheel. And one of the things that Mark told me at that dinner was that he's only written two forewords, right? He's approached by people all the time to write forwards for their books, but he's only written two, and this is one of them, the Trading Mind Wheel. It's so important. It's so important to unravel our beliefs. If you have a belief about trading, but you have a conflicting belief about yourself, you've been handed the holy grail of trading, but you don't believe that you're a disciplined person, right? Are you going to be able to follow this? No. Right? Even you believe in the system, but you don't believe in your own abilities. Those things need to be dug into more, and that's part of what this book helps you with, the Narrow Mind Shift Guide, and to dive deeper into all the skills that you need for trading. That's what this book does, the Trading Mind Wheel. We've got time for some questions, so let's get into it. Let's see. Is this a question or a comment from Raul? Recently, I've been keeping a journal and used to jot down all the things that go into my mind while I'm trading. That's fantastic. I love that. Most of my problems come from not BKing not booking profits when technically it's the sound thing to do. All right. So that there's a few things to unravel in this. So do you have a process, or do you at least have an idea of when profits should be taken? Right? Or do you have those ideas? I would say write down all of the ideas that you have around when profits should be taken. I've got my own ideas around it, and it's actually, well, one of the chapters in my book that I cover, that the trade management chapter, it's in here. But rather than start to throw ideas at you, like unfortunately, I think most people tend to do, I would say to first say, okay, how do you think you should go about booking profits and jot those ideas down? Do you have multiple ways to go about booking profits? Do you take profits all at once, or do you scale out of trades, or is there any of that kind of stuff? And then once you've gotten those ideas down, then start to think about, well, how much conviction do I have in this? When are some of the times that maybe I start to question these beliefs, right? I think that it's a good idea to question our beliefs because uh, we will eventually, right? All of our beliefs will get tested. The idea with questioning our beliefs is that if we make the effort to question our beliefs, then we're able to do it when it's a good time for us. We're able to do it when we're in a calm, relaxed state versus our beliefs being tested when maybe the market just zoomed up 10%. Maybe the trade that you're in is up 10%. And let's say that you've got a rule that says, hey, I should be selling at 10%. Well, now all of a sudden, maybe you're thinking, you know what? I don't know if I should do that. Right? Trader 123 over on X said that, hey, you know what? This stock is going to the moon. And I've followed this guy for a while and he seems to be right. Man, maybe I just relax on this rule a little bit. That's how you start to question a belief in real time and don't even realize that you're doing it. And that's how a lot of people end up breaking rules. But if you question your beliefs ahead of time and you start to think through this kind of stuff ahead of time, that's how you're building your belief muscle, your faith. That's how you start to build real faith. Faith in your system, faith in what you're doing. It's how you get closer to the truth. Do this stuff ahead of time. It's really going to save you so much. Here's one from Kieran. Would you say beliefs are more or less equally as important as goals? I think I look at beliefs. Perhaps I look at beliefs a little bit differently than most people. So the way that I look at beliefs and belief systems, I think that everything is a belief. Even that sentence, thinking that everything is a belief that I have. Right. So you look at that and, well, there's lots of beliefs, aren't there? So you can think of it like this. Think of it like a GPS where you have a goal, you put in the address, right? You're going to drive across town. Maybe you're going to drive out of state, depending on where you live. You put in that address, and then the GPS is going to route you there. Now, there's a few different ways that it'll get you there. It'll give you probably 2 or 3 different ways that you could get there, but it'll get you there. All that software, all the different routes, those are all the beliefs and the belief systems that are going to get you to the goal. Now, let's say that there's a virus in that GPS, and instead of getting you to your destination, it drives you to the ocean, right? You want to go west, it sends you east. It's a little bit of a problem, but that's the problem that so many of us have. So many of us have faulty software or software that hasn't been updated in a few years, and we're running the same kind of stuff in the background, and we end up in destinations that we didn't want to go to, and we say, well, why? The reason why is because the software that we have hasn't been updated in however long, and it's time to start to clear it out a little bit. So goals are important and beliefs are important, and so are belief systems. The way to figure out what's there and clear it out are to do these kinds of exercises. And yeah, do those first exercises. There's a bunch of other exercises that are in the Marrow Mind Shift guide. Again, the link is down in the description. If you're on YouTube, you can just click the link and it'll send you over to Amazon. This book here, The Trading Mind Wheel, this one is also available on Amazon. So check that out. Let's see. Kieran says, I feel like beliefs get you off the ground and goals carry you through. Okay. I think that a why can carry you through, right? So here's how I see goals, right? So a goal, I had a goal to run a marathon. That's one of the stories that I tell in the Trading Mind Wheel. I had a goal to run a marathon. I did it, but the reason why was what was driving me to get up every day, put in all the miles, put in the miles when I didn't feel like it, which was often, but I did it. What are some of the reasons why? Well, some of the reasons why that I had was I was raising money for kids that had cancer. I told all my family and friends and lots of other people that I was planning to do a marathon. So if I backed out of it, I would look like a fool, right? So positive peer pressure. It was one of the things that I had on my bucket list that I wanted to do. Some of my friends were doing it, so I wanted to go and do it with them. So there's some more positive peer pressure. Um, but yeah, so stacking the reasons why for me was part of what was getting me out of bed to go and do this. Alberto, trading is a belief. You believe in a stock and a system. Interesting. I think that all of trading is beliefs, right? And Van Tharp once said that if trading, if I'm gonna screw this up, but it was something similar, something to the effect of if trading is beliefs, then we don't actually trade the market. We trade our beliefs about the market. Right? If everything is beliefs, then we're not actually trading stocks. We're not actually trading crypto. We're not actually trading Forex or baseball cards or whatever. We're trading our beliefs about it. So if we're trading our beliefs and we see the results of those beliefs, then if we're not getting the kind of results we want, then it's time for a beliefs upgrade, right? How do you upgrade your beliefs? You got to question them. Question the ones that you have. That's how you're going to start to deconstruct the trading monster, right? Here's our buddy. You're going to start to deconstruct the trading monster, and then after that, what you're going to do is to be able to think through, all right, well, what now that I've set the table, now that I've seen everything that's here, I see the beliefs that are good and helpful. I see the beliefs that are unhelpful. I've reconciled the ones that uh, I might have had trouble letting go of. Now what do? Well, now I want to start to install the beliefs that are going to help me get to where I want to go. So how do you find those? You find those. Well, that's really one of the big reasons why I wrote the Trading Mind Wheel, because there's certain skills that lead you to success, whether you're trading growth stocks or whether you're a value guy or whether you're trading Forex or crypto or whatever. There's certain skills that are common no matter what that will lead you to trading mastery, and they're all in here. mindset is one of them, right? That's why it's right in the middle. But there's other skills that are crucial too. Journaling. Rahul mentioned journaling earlier. Right? Was it Rahul or was it Kieran? I think it was Rahul. But yeah, you guys mentioned journaling earlier. Journaling is one of the skills that are needed for trading mastery. Post-analysis is another skill, right? We've got to not just write about what we're trading, we've actually got to go back and look at our notes and continuously evolve. Well, how do we know how to evolve? Well, we could back test, right? That's another skill. Testing is a skill. In testing is back testing, forward testing, and factor modeling, right? Those three. We don't need to reinvent the wheel, but we could study what's worked in the past and reverse engineer it to see how we could do the same. That's what O'Neill did. That's actually what this thing is right here. Not the whole guy, right? But this part over. Oops. Let's zoom out a little bit. And I want to try to get to just this right here, just the CAN Slim. CAN Slim is a reverse engineering of what actually works in the market. That's how O'Neill got to it. He studied, well, there's certain stocks that would break out and run. Well, what were the common factors among them? That's factor modeling. And there's few other skills in this book that are necessary too. And well, rather than spend a decade trying to figure this stuff out like I did, pick this up and read it in a couple of days or maybe a week or so, however long you read. I'm a little bit of a slower reader. When I find something that I like to take my time and go through it. But read this and then you'll know what you got to do next. We're a little over time. Let me see if there's any other questions that are coming in. But I do want to say, this has been very, very enlightening for me, right? Like every time that I come on here, I feel like I learned something too, that I get a little bit of a takeaway. Even though I'm the guy that's up here talking to you all, it's valuable for me too, because it reinforces a lot of the stuff. I don't know about you, but when you guys ask questions, right? It's just like how when you ask yourself a question, the belief that you have is either going to get strengthened or it's going to fall away. So when you guys ask questions, it forces me to think about things in a different way. And yeah, that conviction that I had is either going to get a little bit weaker. Maybe I'll get a new perspective, or what I had will get a little bit stronger, right? So thank you guys. I appreciate you guys being here. It's always grand. Love talking to you guys, and I look forward to talking to you again real soon. So thank you all very much, and have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care. Much love, and God bless.
Hey, thanks so much for sticking around to the end. If you're new here, hit the subscribe button down below and become a part of the Marrow Wealth community. And make sure that you check out some of the other videos on the channel. They're exactly what you need to see. And leave a comment down below. I read all of them. Leave a comment.